Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to talk something about experiences when building something new and when you have more questions than you have answers. So, next slide, please. I will first guide you on what are we building so you can get an idea of what this is all about. Then briefly, what about when everything is new? You might like to hear also how was the team built, how our team got to know the agile method, then a quick look at what best practices do we rely on, and as the last topic, what are our experiences in cloud projects? But let's get started. And yes, a year ago, we started a project where our goal is to create one platform in the cloud service where we share public, legislative, and other parliamentary information in a hopefully more interesting and versatile way so that it reaches different audience groups and their special needs. So around 90% of the services will be automatically data-driven. As you can see, we will have easy-to-find websites for everybody, open data application programming interfaces for people who are interested of coding, different kind of data sets, and a search service that support users. Starting this for us was a leap to unknown. And if I can get the next slide, please. Front of us is application of new technology. We have a new information technology partner. We are also applying new project management method. Then as well, new project management applications were introduced and some new people started. That's what is about when everything is new. And next slide, please. Well, how to work with agile method and new technology partners. A year before the project started, with our team, we attended various courses on the agile method. The courses was found very useful, and the learning was deepened by the fact that we could participate in it as a whole team together. We asked also about experiences, lessons learned, and best practices from other projects and other organizations. We got Agile coach to coach us in the very early stages of the project. Afterwards, however, we didn't get that much added value from the Agile coach because the supplier's Scrum Master turned out to be top expert who knew how to take customers, product owners under his guidance as well. However, we created this responsibility map of agility, as we call it, to guide and clarify the responsibilities of each other and each role. The roles and responsibilities were adapted to our own organization and may not work elsewhere as defined here. This is a kind of adoption of the agile method to us. As you can see on the left of this slide, we have a steering group. Then on the right-hand side, we have stakeholders. Then to our team here on the Parliament, we have 4 persons who are acting as product owners. And why 4? Because we have 4 very different specialty areas in this project, like open data. Then we have developing of search engine, then as well website and their design, and also related to the websites, we have accessibility and content management. And then, addition to the 4 product owners, we decided to separate the technical product owner, whose role is more technical, and that person is coming from our IT department. Beside of these roles, we have auditors for different kind of auditing before we are intending to take this product as our use. Then, of course, in this case, we decided that we actually need also a project manager. And of course, end users to doing beta testing and giving us a valuable feedback of our development work. Then you can see a slight line here on our slide today. And under that, we have supplier. Suppliers development team is consisting of 11 to 12%, depending a little bit that what developing phase we are. Then they have, of course, a Scrum Master holding all this together, and they have also their own project manager and their steering group, which are combined with our steering group. Okay. If I can get the next slide, please. My second last topic today is what best practices do we rely on. And here, the new national level cloud recommendations for public sectors in Finland were published officially in October 2023 already. The main idea is the cloud-first approach. Addition to this, we follow also our security requirements for systems containing national protected information, cloud services, security evaluation criteria, AWS well-architected framework, and then a public sector recommendation for an information management model. In general, we found this valuable and got a lot of support by going through this. Even though it might seem a little frustrating first, but it is very eye-opening and worth it. I strongly would encourage you to do something similar. Then, of course, we can't forget EU directives and Finnish legislation. After all this, I actually hope you are still can follow with me. And my next and last topic as well. If I can get the next slide, please. Yes, this is about more maybe experiences of cloud projects and not so much challenges. For the first time in our organization, unfortunately, not before, we have succeeded in building information security into a part of the entire development life cycle. And then cost optimization is often discussed with developers when they don't always want to act quite so systematically and according to the best practices, because it's sometimes slightly hindering their work. But the lack of this is immediately then visible in the owner's cloud costs. In cloud management, we use an automated management tool, the implementation of which brought us 6 months of savings compared to manual installation, but causes additional work when changing suppliers. And then choosing the right cloud services often requires quite a bit of research. To combat vendor lock, we have tried to pay special attention to the selection of tools using open interfaces and utilizing common standards and paying attention to data portability and compatibility. This is all about balancing between different factors all the time. I would say that we are definitely trying our best, and let's see how far it will carry us. If I briefly summarize, we went through team building and knowledge building, as well as challenges and experiences in adopting new technology in a cloud environment. I think here is good to end. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Excellent. No, thank you very much for a very informative presentation. It's good to see that you have adopted the cloud frameworks and AWS as an example. So I also very much understand the pain when developers decide to turn on services without worrying about the cost. And sometimes it does feel like a blank check has been written, and it's very painful at the end of the month. So I definitely appreciate that concern as well. So, you know, it is very interesting as we are dealing with taxpayer money. I see, you know, you do have a strong team of, say, 12 developers, you know, from one of your original slides. How important is it to have the right staff involved in these types of projects? And also how, you know, from a staffing point of view, is it for the Finland government or Parliament to actually find the right people? Like, was that a complicated journey for you in terms of recruitment and finding the right staff, or did you have an existing pool of staff that you could actually then rely on as an example? Because we know that there's a lot of interest in, say, corporate hiring versus government hiring, and the balance between being innovative to try to retain people is actually a really interesting scenario that has been playing out for the last couple of years as an example. So what sort of strategies have you developed around retaining good staff to keep that momentum going?
Yes. I would say that we have been extremely lucky when we started in this scale of project, where we are renewing at the same time various things. From Parliament side, we had experienced people similar kinds of projects before. And they are highly educated, all of them. And additionally, when they have this experience, they already knew what to wait. And they knew also how to prepare. And then what comes to the supplier? In public sector, as you know, you have to ask offer for all the things what you are going to buy. And I would say that we have been putting quite much effort to paying attention that what kind of skills we need from the supplier. And this time, this particular supplier has been answering to our demands extremely well. First time in my career, I was positively surprised that we managed to get so skillful people who are as well able to communicate with us, and they are actually also listening what we are saying and trying to make the implementation accordingly.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting aspect around that, especially when dealing with vendors, as an example. So, and the knowledge which they may have some really good technical skills, but the challenge is also then listening to you and then translating what Parliament does, because Parliament can be very complex, and change quite significantly in a day, as we all know. So we have to learn to adapt very quickly to those types of scenarios as well. One of the things I've actually been looking at recently in Finland, specifically, is actually the work of, say, your National Library, in terms of artificial intelligence, in terms of other sort of areas, and their work with the universities, etc. Has Parliament sort of been looking at sort of working with your sort of more universities or education or other sort of departments who are actually doing some really interesting work in this field as well?
Yes, some of the universities has been actually discussing with us if we would find the suitable way to do cooperation together.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I would say that it's more in a working process to us still, that we have been making some sort of small experimentation with one of the technical universities. But we actually haven't found yet the right way to do more larger scale of cooperation, because we tackled to some sort of financial issues which we couldn't find yet the right legal way to solve them. So this is a little bit hindering us. And with the National Library as well, we are doing every now and then some sort of more small projects to try to find the mutual benefits. But I believe the collaboration could be much more intensive also, that unfortunately maybe we are not doing enough yet.
Mm-hmm. It's finding the fine balance between, enabling Parliament for some of your new projects, and obviously looking at what others do, and making sure that it's compatible with what you are doing, as an example. So it is quite interesting in terms of that. So if you were to look, as an example, if you were to look in a year's time, what would you hope to really achieve in your sort of next 12 months from a digital innovation perspective? Is it the introduction of artificial intelligence, or is it more digitization, or more seamless sort of connectivity between environments, as an example? Like, what is your sort of strategy looking like for the next 12 months, and what are your plans to deliver around that?
Okay, I would say that our actually the biggest and most ambitious goal is here that when we are changing all the data what we have
Mm.
on our on-premise environment. We are transferring all that to the cloud, and at the same time as well, changing the data to that form that it would be possible for different kind of AI systems to start to use it, and also different analytical tools to use it better than at the moment. That our big problem is that we haven't been actually doing anything like this kind of big change since last 20 years. And we maybe started this little bit like too late. And now we are like much in rush to try to get this done, that we could actually get benefits out of it. And our vendor actually said that the data what we have, it is actually very valuable, but it's extremely difficult when it's legislative data and is done as an aspect to the master systems. So how do we convert this data to that form that it's understandable to the other users and AI tools?
I think that's a very good point. And also, I think specifically with legislation, any conversion, especially when we look at artificial intelligence, needs to be accurate. Because if it is law, we want to make sure that there are no discrepancies in those conversions, or it is giving factual information, to the actual users as well. So I think it's very wise to actually, be a bit more cautious sometimes, instead of just rushing into those sort of data migrations. And I know that what we've done previously is that we've sort of uploaded what I call historical content previously back to sometimes in the 1800s. And what we've done is sort of siloed off that information into its own model, but then new content, or sort of what I call recent content, is sort of more malleable or more reliable in terms of that sort of data perspective as well. So it is sort of interesting when you do have a lot of, and I think all data in Parliament is very valuable, because all records are, kept forever effectively. So because what you said, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago is still valid, because it's a parliamentary record. So, but we want to make sure that it's used in the right format, I suppose, is really quite interesting. And, taking a bit more of a cautious approach is one of the sort of recommended approaches around those sort of large data sets as well. So, so in terms of my sort of last question is sort of around your citizen sort of centric side of things as well. Part of your sort of first slide was around your diagram around your digitization in terms of your different user bases that you're interested in sort of presenting. What are your sort of plans, or what are your sort of thoughts in terms of, what additional citizen sort of centric services you would like to actually deliver, in the next couple of years?
Yes, the goal was that we have done some research earlier, and we noticed that like in many parliaments, the data content is very difficult to understand. So we have put a lot of effort to try to also to present it in that way that it would be more understandable, and that they would get actually right away the information what they are looking for. That it's maybe all of these easy access and the right time information, right kind of information, what they are looking for, and also to be as well trustworthy, that the people can really trust that the information what we are delivering is right and it's correct and it's not changed. So maybe these factors are the most important what we are trying to achieve here.
I think it's a very good point. If as soon as we're touching the original content in any way to make it more readable or to make it more citizen friendly, like what we call natural language or accessible, etc., I think there is a real risk that you could change the context or you could change the meaning behind something, which again, we're trying to make sure that parliaments are trustworthy. And as you sort of rightly said, it is fundamental to government and fundamental to parliament that is sort of always maintained going forward as well. So I think, so from my perspective, I think, it's been a very interesting conversation with you and understanding exactly, your sort of journey and how that sort of eventuated is really quite interesting. You're sort of going through the agile training or the agile sort of methodology and how you've sort of progressed that for your delivery as well is quite interesting. And I think a lot of parliaments will be interested in those sort of methodologies in terms of how do you actually develop a team of people to really guide that process is really quite interesting. So I'd like to commend you on a really well, good job done. And I'm very excited to see what the next sort of year does look like for you.
Thank you so much. That's really nice to hear.